Really? You thought you had to become part of the FBI finding boys' infidelity in order to catch your last boyfriend in the act? Oh, this is Netflix. You want this story? Duh. So our girlie Stephanie, dating this guy Greg for 2 years. Greg had been planning to go on Stephanie's family vacation with her to the Florida Keys. The night before vacation, Greg calls Stephanie, says that he is very sick, and Stephanie is bawling. She's like, okay, there's nothing you can do about that. So Stephanie's on vacation. Like, oh, I'm gonna be a sweet girlfriend. So she door dashes Greg his favorite pad thai. One problem. DoorDasher gets to the front door. No one's there to accept it. Stephanie calls Greg and she's like, hey, I have something for you at your door. Like, go answer your door. Greg tells Stephanie, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not home. I had to run to the store really. So Stephanie's like, whatever, tells the DoorDasher, just leave it at the front door, fine. That night, Stephanie tries to call Greg. He doesn't answer. The next morning, she wakes up. He still hasn't returned her call. So she's like, I'm worried about him. Stephanie calls her bestie Katie and she's like, hey, I'm really worried about Greg. Can you please go and check on him? Katie calls Stephanie and she's like, hey, like I'm at Greg's front door, knocking, no one's here, but she's like, it's the craziest thing. There's a bag of pad thai just ripped open all over the front porch. Wait, what? It's like, did he never go outside to get the pad thai and an animal got into it overnight? Walks around to the back of the house and she can see in his house through the window. And on the kitchen counter is a purple Stanley. See, the thing about Stephanie, she doesn't like the color purple. That's not her color. Katie was like, Steph, there's a Stanley sitting on his counter that's purple. That's not yours, is it? Stephanie was like, sure isn't. Stephanie wasn't born yesterday. Dawn's on Steph. She's like, wait, I have his location on Life 360. She could track him. Posted to look at his location and it's off. She was like, wait. That night, Stephanie's enjoying a little marg in the Florida Keys. And Greg finally calls her. Greg says, I'm so sorry. I really didn't feel well. I took a bunch of NyQuil. I've been sleeping. Phone's been dead. I called you as soon as I woke. Stephanie's thinking to herself, though, why didn't he get the DoorDash that I delivered to him to his house if he was home? Doesn't make sense. So she's like, oh, glad you're okay. We're gonna go to dinner. I'll talk to you later. Then Stephanie's like, well, he called me. His phone's back on. She goes to check his location on Life 360. This poor little boy didn't know that Life 360, it's not like Find My Friends. Someone turns off their phone, then when they turn their phone back on, you can see every place that the phone was pinged. You can see the locations that he went to. She sees that most of the day yesterday. He was at a bar. Who spends all day at a bar? She goes to Greg's Instagram. She's scrolling. Boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bop, bam. She sees a photo and a bunch of his coworkers, but one coworker in particularly has a purple Stanley in her hand. We'll just call her Taylor. Okay. Stephanie calls her bestie Katie and she's like, Katie, I need you to drive to this bar and see if Greg's coworker with the purple Stanley named Taylor also has a job working at this bar. Katie was like, yes, ma'am. She drives to this bar. Katie's in the corner with her little sunnies on doing recon. Who does she see walk into the bar a couple hours later? Not only Taylor for her shift, but also Greg. It's like, okay, what other proof do I need? This is kind of gross. You cannot judge, okay? At this point, Stephanie was so stressed. She's like, I'm leaving this vacation. I'm coming home. Meanwhile, she Amazons a purple Stanley to her house so that it's there when she gets back home. She gets home. Her and Katie get a bunch of dog from Katie's dog in her backyard. Fill the purple Stanley with dog poo. Go and leave it on Greg's front porch. Blocked him, uninstalled Insta360. Steph was like, I can only imagine his face when he pulled up to his house, saw a purple Stanley on his front porch. He picked it up and he smelled it. John Tucker must have been alive, baby. Okay, call me back. Love you. Bye.